comedic line before terrible intro. Right then, it's finally time for me to make a bucket list coasters video. And who asked? Well, one person did. Yeah, so, bucket list coasters. In this video, surprisingly, I'm going to talk about and name my bucket list coasters. Now, for them to be on my bucket list, I've said that they have to be coasters that I don't plan to ride in the near-ish future, and they're also going to be ones that I probably will get around to doing in my life, unless I grow up and decide this is a terrible hobby, or die because roller coasters are very dangerous. But anyway, I've got to realistically want to ride them. Also, last thing, they've got to be fairly different to each other. Now, I say that, and there are 4 RMCs, but look, alright, I like RMC a lot, I'm not going to lie, so there are quite a few on here. Now before I start, I've got a few special mentions that I'll quickly go through. First one is Zadra, because, do I even need to explain? It's in special mentions, not the actual list, because I do plan to ride it as soon as possible. Same with Lech coaster, because that also looks really good. I want to call it underrated, but then lots of people say it's the best coaster in Europe, so I guess it's not underrated. It looks very good. Last special mention is Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. Though it's not, because I'm also going to say Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. Yeah, look, I'm going to add those two at Cedar Point because they're very cool coasters, but I don't want this entire list becoming Cedar Point, so I'm just going to mention them. But enough special mentions, let's get on to the actual video, which is a fairly dull, uninspired, unoriginal bucket list coaster list. So what do you think is the most unoriginal coaster I could start off a bucket list coaster list with? Is it Steel Vengeance? No, it's Maverick. Maverick for its legendary intensity, transitions, pacing, and just all of that. It's been an absolute classic since the day it was built, and is probably the reason why there's so much hype around Intamin Blitz coasters. Speaking of Intamin Blitz coasters, a new one that I also talk about way too much, Taiga. Now, to save me from going on a rant about Taiga that just doesn't end, and it's just me drooling on about how it's an amazing coaster, I'm just going to say, it looks like an amazing coaster because of the variety of elements, and it is incredibly well designed. Someone give Camille a medal. I hope Camille designed it, because otherwise that's a bit awkward. Anyway, next is Expedition GeForce. This is on the list because Expedition GeForce probably has the best pure ejector airtime. Ever since I went on Goliath at Wallaby Holland, this was always high on my bucket list of coasters to do, because that strength of ejector airtime sustained for that long with Intamin T-bars is something I have to experience. Next coaster I have is the Voyage at Holiday World. This is definitely one of the best wooden coasters to ever be built. It's insanely long, and it's got over 20 seconds of airtime or something stupid. The fact that you have that quantity of airtime and a fast-paced ride through the forest on a wooden coaster that's shaking about all over the place just looks absolutely amazing. It's the Voyage. Now, from a wooden coaster with loads of floater airtime that's a bit shaky to a wooden coaster that has loads of ejector airtime and is very smooth, El Toro. El Toro, like Maverick, because Intamin knew what they were doing, although they still do, but yeah, they were built very similar times, and they're both good. I don't know what I'm saying, but I don't really know if there's anything that quite compares to El Toro's airtime hills. I mean, those first two, if you look at a video of them, you can see why that airtime is insane. That's the best way to describe this coaster. Insane. And also there's that legendary Rolling Thunder Hill near the end, which is definitely one of the strongest airtime moments on the planet. What have we got next? Steel Vengeance. Now, I don't think anybody's heard of this ride, because no one talks about it, but it's at this place called Cedar Point, and it has the most airtime on the planet, and it's an RMC, and it's huge, and it's very long. It's widely regarded as the best coaster on the planet at the moment. You might disagree, which is fair enough, but the general consensus amongst enthusiasts, whether you agree with it personally or not, is that this is the best coaster on the planet, and that's why I want to ride it. Now we've got another RMC, Lightning Rod. I know it's been slowing down a bit, but the strength and quantity and quality of airtime on this coaster is almost unrivaled, except by other RMCs and coasters on this list. This might get pushed off my bucket list as more coasters with this style of airtime are being built, but for now it's still on there. And we've had 2 RMCs, so what's next? Another RMC, Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser is one of the smaller RMCs, but it's on this list because of a couple of things. One, just the strength of the airtime, it's insane. But another thing is that this coaster does a really weird kind of sideways, whippy, back and forth motion on some of the elements, which some people do say is a bit painful and stupid, but I really want to experience that and see what it's like for myself. Whether it is painful and stupid, or if it makes it feel more insane, I want to see what it's like. Now we first, yes. Now we have the first Giga Coaster on the list, Storm Chaser. No, that was the last, right. Intimidator 305. This is probably the most intense roller coaster on the planet, and the fact that they had to reprofile the entirety of the first turn because people blacked out on it backs that up. Now yes, this ride is absolutely huge, but the reason I want to ride this is for that intensity and for those insane transitions. Like, I'll show a video, just look at that, I want to ride this coaster because I want a broken neck. Now I've got a couple of Japanese coasters which I'm going to brush over quickly because they're commonly on people's bucket lists and they're both in the same park. Eejanaika is the 4D coaster at Fuji-Q Highland, and it's better than X2. These 4D coasters are a really cool idea, and they got executed quite well. I hear there's a bit of kind of roughness to them, but it's such a unique experience, and Eejanaika is apparently the best one. The Raven turns look ridiculously intense, and I definitely want to ride it at some point. And on the same day, I want to ride Do-Dodonpa, because that acceleration is like being hit by a train. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it's 1 to 112 miles an hour in 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 seconds, something like that. I'll put it on screen. But wow, nothing even comes close to that. I can't even comprehend how quick that acceleration is. Like, wow. Next on the list is Skyrush. Why is this on here? Because that Yonker airtime, boys. That Yonker airtime. Let's go. But seriously, although Skyrush is apparently very painful, and people call it Thigh Crush because they think they're comedic geniuses, I'm a big fan of my strong airtime, and this, as far as I can tell, or from what I can hear, has the strongest airtime on the planet. People talk about the 2G hill, the minus 2G hills. That's Yonker airtime. I'm gonna have to challenge myself to say that without addressing the cringe afterwards at some point. But yeah, Skyrush, you will lose your legs and your torso will fly off your body, but I need to experience that airtime. What else has ridiculously strong, nearly minus 2G airtime? In this case, are RMC Raptors. I want no particular one, but I want to experience an RMC Raptor for the non-stop, relentless experience and the ridiculously strong airtime. I mean, just look at that thing. Look at it. Look, it's good. Now, I have singular B&M. Probably the best B&M, Fury 325. What a huge coaster, and what a great coaster. Combine the speed with the openness of the trains and the amazing low to the ground airtime filled layout. This ride, Fury 325, is the ultimate Giga Coaster experience, and it needs riding. Has there been enough RMCs on this list? Of course not. Hakugei is next. When this coaster first opened, I overlooked it quite a lot because from POVs and stuff, it didn't look that good. But then it started speeding up a bit, and I started looking at the POVs a bit more critically, and reviews started coming in, and I realised that this coaster looks amazing. It's fairly different to Steel Vengeance in terms of RMCs. There's some really cool elements and sideways airtime that I want to experience on it, and it's look, it's just another really good RMC. Okay, I need to get on it. Now, there's only 2 coasters left, and they both have absolutely amazing names. The first one is Wood Coaster. I told you it had a good name. Wood Coaster at some park in China. Oh, I'm gonna have to check now. Wood Coaster at Night Valley has everything you want out of a fast-paced GCI. Some of the off-axis and airtime moments on this coaster just look really cool. Combine that with GCI pacing and just the chaotic feeling of a wooden coaster, and just everything makes this coaster, it's just the ultimate GCI experience. I know that's cringe, but it looks really good. What's the last coaster that also has a really good name? It's Coaster. Yeah, it's called Coaster. Coaster at Playland in Vancouver, Canada. Now, there's one reason this coaster is on this list, and it is the restraints. I've put it on here instead of Phoenix at Knoebels because this looks better, although they are quite similar. I'll try find a video that shows it. Just, what the hell? This ride cannot be safe. I mean, on the airtime hills on this ride, you rise out of your seat by about a foot because that lap bar locks in one place every single ride, no matter how fat you are. This coaster sends you to space. Jesus Christ. Right, okay, before I waste any more of your time, that's the end of my list. I hope this gave you an insight into the kind of coasters I want to ride. Yeah, look, those are my bucket list coasters, alright? Subscribe. Stop us losing subscribers. Thanks for your support, your comments, your views, everything like that. That's my bucket list coasters. Bye.